Good morning, Lancers. This is your soon-to-be favorite MC on the microphone, Mr. Shirley, here to talk to you today about the 2019-2020 Capstone process. In today's video, I'm going to explain what we're going to get accomplished during today's Capstone workshop. I'll also give an explanation of what capstones are, the benefits of capstones. I'll give a short list of things capstones are not. I'll talk about the role teachers play in the capstone process. Students will see an example of a capstone project submitted last year. There's also an educational piece I'm working on called The Map is Not the Territory. Today, it's an interview with Rob Long, someone who graduated from Downingtown Middle School in Downingtown West. For today's assignment, students are going to complete an interest inventory that can be found on the Schoology course in their homerooms. Next time, students are going to complete a worksheet related to what they know about a topic, what they want to learn, and what they have learned. This will be used to gauge progress through the capstone process. Students will also work on a capstone proposal. The video next time will be a lot shorter. So what is a capstone? Well, it's most easily described as an opportunity for students to be academically selfish. Students are going to take something they're interested in and go as far with it and go as in-depth with it as possible. Topics would be unique to them and shouldn't be found on a curriculum anywhere. It's okay if something overlaps with something you learn in school, but it should be unique and stand out from what's done in school in some obvious way. Projects typically fall into one of two categories. Students look at things that are brand new to them and there's a lot of exploration, or they develop something based on skills or knowledge that they already have related to the topic. Either way, we are looking to see progress from now until the end of the school year. Capstones are also unique because there is a lot of student work, but there is no grade for their capstone project. The benefits to capstones are many. Most obvious to me is it's an opportunity to reveal resiliency. Students are going to make long-term plans, maybe for the first time ever, and things are not going to go according to plan. So as they work through them, they're showing that they have grit and can hang on when something is difficult. On a practical side, capstones are also great resume builders. Oftentimes in 9th and 10th grade, people look for part-time work but don't have prior work experience. So you could take your capstone project to an employer and talk about how you've hung on when something was difficult and how you showed initiative for something that you were excited about. Capstones cannot be a project that is a repeat of something they've done in class somewhere. Capstone workshop time is not a time to sit and do nothing or do classwork. Probably most important to me is that capstones are a year-long process. No one is finished with their capstone until they present in May. Last year I talked to students who said, "Oh, I'm done with my capstone. I already know how to do something." Nope, that doesn't count. You have to be working on it all school year, and your teacher mentor has to be able to see that you've made progress in whatever it is you're exploring. Speaking of your teacher, his or her role in the capstone process is best described as that of a coach. If you think about it, a coach has to stand on the sidelines. If a coach goes on the field with their players or their athletes, they obstruct what the players are able to do. This is fully on you as the student. Your teachers are there to help facilitate what you're working on and offer a lot of encouragement. You can bounce ideas off of them. They're going to give you feedback as you go along. They're going to encourage you. Please remember that everyone working at Downingtown Middle School is working there because we love to see young people succeed. We love to see them get excited about things. We love to see them apply things that we learn. So it's an opportunity for us professionally. Up next is a capstone from Omar. I wanted to start you off with a good one. His was a huge success, and for everyone at Downingtown Middle School, we were very excited for Omar.
My name is Omar Ibrahim, and this is my capstone presentation of learning the art of guitar. In the early stages, I always wanted to learn guitar. I love guitar, especially since my dad had moved here from Egypt, and the music that he listened to around that time was heavy metal. For my 11th birthday, my brother's friend gave me a really nice acoustic guitar, but I never touched it until last November. Dr. Alfred was huge in teaching me guitar. The first day he showed us that he had a few guitars in the back, and he said that he had a club every Monday. And I'd heard about these capstones, and I wanted to do something unique and different that not many people would try or put the effort to do. Um, Eventually, when I wanted to stop playing guitar after I got a little bit good, but I was still struggling, he continued to keep up with my with what I wanted to do and keep up with me, and eventually I continued to learn guitar and got better each day. Adversity. My first few lessons were tough. I could barely play easy chords like E's, A minors, C's, G's, and I was getting drained out mentally and physically. My fingers were hurting because it's a heavy guitar, and I was getting tired and I wanted to quit. The song "Nothing Else Matters" was huge in keeping me in guitar and making me love guitar. It's a really nice song, and it incorporates the features of acoustic guitar and electric guitar. And I wanted to learn it, but I always got stuck up on this one piece right here. I could never play it, and I was getting really frustrated. And this is the second point where I wanted to quit and get rid of guitar, but I just kept trying and trying, and then it finally happened. I passed the hump. I started to understand guitar a little bit more. I was playing easy four chorded songs like Weezer songs, and I was starting to build up slowly confidence to be able to play, and farther along the road play in front of people. Experiments. I started playing in front of Senior Hufford's class. I started playing in the morning in the gym, in the cafeteria, through the hallways, in my friends' driveways, annoying my neighbors, annoying my friends, annoying my parents, my siblings, my teachers, and annoying my friends. But I was trying to do that just to build up confidence and see if I could, if I was ready to be able to play in front of people without being scared of messing up or not doing the right thing. My first purchase was this guitar right here. I bought it back in February, and it was a sign of commitment to me wanting to play guitar for a future time. This is not a knockoff guitar. It was a guitar that I felt like I could have for a few years. That would be a good teaching guitar, but a good, fun, nice guitar for people to hear and enjoy the sound of. Oh boy, the talent show was my first big performance in front of people. Now it's a middle school talent show, so it's no Metallica or big concert, but it was big to me because I never played in front of people the size of the capacity of the people who were in there. And so I was playing a song by the Eagles called Hotel California, and as I went on, I was ready to play, and my first string was not cooperating, and I was really bummed out. It People said it sounded great, but I felt like that was just to calm me down because I was very angry and unhappy with what had happened. And for the next few days, it was really tough. It went from a really exciting day from me being able to host a talent show and playing it to me being angry. The days after I started grinding on guitar, I learned songs or easy riffs like or easy Metallica songs like. And I continued to try and learn just to make sure that I could perform better. And I didn't want to be on stage again. I was really angry, and I was just like, that was just a time period where I didn't let anyone distract me, and I just continued to learn. But I didn't want to be back on stage. I'm back on stage. The NJHS induction ceremony was happening, and they asked for people to put their names in to play instruments. And I somehow, some way, put my name in, knowing that I didn't want to play. But I got picked, and I was ready to go back, but not ready to go back. I had mixed feelings. The day of, I went on with an acoustic guitar, and I nailed two songs that had tripped me up before. Hotel California, which is the one that I messed up in Talent Show, and Nothing Else Matters, which is the one where I could never get. And I nailed them, and people clapped, and my parents were proud, and I felt like it was a redemption from what had happened at the talent show. Life at home. The capstones for me personally were not just learning in school. It was something that I continued to do outside of school. Most days for the past few months now, I've been playing around an hour to 2 hours a day of just straight guitar because I feel like the more I practice, the more confidence I build up, and the more skill I build in terms of playing guitar. Here's some of my favorite songs. This one's the Nothing Else Matters. And a few other songs, Iron Man, a lot of well-known rock songs that maybe even your parents know, and learning those songs helped me out a lot in building my confidence and building more skill. Here's a message. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Hufford and Miss Hayduk. They both kept me from quitting numerous times when I was angry. But the message for you guys is to continue playing. These capstones taught me a lot outside of guitar too. They taught me that through adversity, to persevere through and try and find what you're looking for. I've always loved guitar. I just never had the confidence to play guitar. And now that I started to play, I was like, wow, I suck, but I can keep this going. And now I've made it to that stage where I don't suck until I try something new. Now I'm on my next phase, which is bar chords, and I suck at them. I'm not good yet. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound clean, right? But eventually, as I continue to learn, I'll learn those, and I'll go through the next phase of the guitar, the next phases, and people can do that too. Whether that's with sports, whether that's with academics, capstones taught me a lot, and I hope they teach you a lot too. Thanks for watching. I'm most proud of playing in front of people because I feel like you don't have to be a guitarist to be able to play in front of people. You can sing in front of people, ukulele, drums, whatever it is. And I feel like I was an extrovert, but I never wanted to perform. I never thought I was musically good. So being able to play in front of the people at the induction and the talent show was huge. That's my biggest accomplishment by far. I learned two things about myself. At first, I thought I learned that I was a quitter, but eventually I learned that I'm a perseverer. I like to take adventures and run through them even when it looks like the walls are falling. So I learned that I have a lot of perseverance. Well, past bar chords, I want to be a lead guitarist. I want to play in front of more and more people, thousands of people. And in terms of life, I want to continue building my confidence and my leadership. I feel like there's two types of guitarists. There's guitarists who are rhythm guitarists and guitarists who are lead guitarists, and both of them are really important. And I feel like to be a lead guitarist, you got to be able to take the pack with you, and I want to try and build that up as I go along. Tons. First of all, my parents, they were huge. They listened to me suck for days and days and weeks and months. I was playing strings that were supposed to be played up here, down here, and I was like, oh, I think it's just out of tune. And my parents would tell me like, no, I think this is you, and they were harsh on me, and I thank them for that now, even though I was angry at them then. Um, my parents were huge. I want to thank the students in the gym for listening to me daily, just playing guitar, because they didn't make me stop. They didn't tell me stop. They listened. They went on with their days even as I was playing. And I want to thank the teachers in the hallways who let me play through the hallways, who didn't come out and yell at me for it. I think all those people helped me get to where I wanted to be.
Up next is the last part of our video. It's the character education piece I talked about at the beginning, called The Map is Not the Territory. Today it's an interview with Rob Long, a graduate from Downingtown West who attended Downingtown Middle School. Right about now is a great opportunity to set a timer and take a 2-minute stretch break. So go ahead and pause this YouTube video and come back in 2 minutes. While the interview is going on, there's two things I'm hoping students and teachers can pick up on with Rob's story. Listen to how passion intersects with adversity in his life, and try to get an understanding of how Rob wants his life defined on his own terms. I hope you enjoy. So Rob, why don't you tell us what school you graduated from?
Yeah, so I started in went to Downingtown West High School and also Downingtown Middle School, and then went on to Syracuse University where I played football, majored in um, business and communications, or business and marketing, and then got my master's in communications from Syracuse University as well.
We are working with eighth graders on capstone projects. And a capstone project is when an eighth grader is to take a topic of interest and go as deep into it as they can, learn as much as they can, apply things. And I thought it's going to be very hard for them because long-term projects are new to young people. Um, and I keep toying around with the idea that the map is not the territory, that things never really do go as expected, you know? Um, so your story is one where I think you're super passionate and enthusiastic about sports. It turned into a long-term goal of yours, several goals, and then things did not go according to plan. So I'm wondering if you can give us background on your very incredible story.
Like any other kid, wanted to play, at a professional sports at whatever level, because that was, my dream as a child. And so I had an opportunity through a lot of hard work and dedication. I was offered a full scholarship to Syracuse University to play football. And so I worked very hard, and I was fortunate that my teammates picked me to be, a team captain as a junior and a senior. And I'd worked really hard to get where I was. And coming out of my senior year, I was the number one punter in the country, and coming out of college and heading into the NFL draft. And I had thought that I had pretty much everything laid out in front of me, that I was trying to figure out what NFL city I would end up in, and that was going to be my life, and I would go and play football and figure out what I wanted to do after that. And
When you were in high school and you were playing football, was your background in football or was it in soccer? Or was it
yeah,
always
so
football?
I actually played ice hockey as as a young kid. So I started
Yeah.
playing hockey at like 4 or 5 years old, and I played baseball, soccer, uh, and I played everything. And I played soccer and hockey and baseball through middle school, and then into high school. I played baseball as a freshman, um, and then I quit everything to focus on hockey after my freshman year
Oh.
of high school, and that's when I stumbled into playing football. So I didn't actually start playing football until I was a sophomore in high school, and really didn't start punting until I was a junior in high school.
Yeah, and it's like a process. Like you're already talking about this an interest in sports and how that changed throughout, and then like just the culture shock of high school sports then to college, so it's you're getting
Right,
prepared for something you have no point of reference for. So that's I think
right.
a fantastic segue into you were talking about how your career went at Syracuse and then some unexpected stuff came up.
Yeah, and I think so. One of the things that is, I think, important to note, especially when you talk about playing in college at a high level like that, everybody that was on my college football team was probably not only the best athlete in their high school, but possibly the best athlete in the county or their part of the state or in the state. So we're going into a pool of other athletes who are also the best in their school or in their county or their state.
Yeah.
So the level of competition is so much more elevated, that you're not competing against people that you're better than anymore. You're competing against people who have equal skill sets as you.
Yeah.
And that's why there's that next level of commitment and training, everything that it takes. That's where people really get separated from being good, great, and elite at that level. But so, kind of going back to my story, so I was positioned at a point where I had hired an NFL agent. I had had conversations with teams about the NFL draft, and being drafted and playing for their team, and it all felt like it was so close, and my dreams were coming to fruition. And 5 days after my last regular season game at Syracuse, I was diagnosed with a rare aggressive form of brain cancer, and within a 24-hour period, my entire life changed. It went from my concerns were what NFL city I was going to live in and what uniform I'd wear to, you know, am I going to be alive in, 6 months?
Yeah.
And, that was kind of the nature of the cards that I was dealt. And it was tough. It was a difficult shift in perspective and understanding, and something that I had identified as being a football player. That more or less went away in a very quick time frame, and it was a complete shift in my focus of kind of all of my long term goals, all my short term goals. Like everything had changed. Right, I had laid out this plan that I thought was infallible. That I really believed that I had done everything I needed to do, and in a sense, I had done what I needed to do. And there's things in life that come up that you can't predict or can't be prepared for. And this was one of those things. And so I was flown home to Philadelphia, and the hospital's there, and that's when I was told that I had a large brain tumor that took up a quarter of my brain. I needed to have emergency surgery, and once that happened, and I got the pathology report back from the doctor and received my prognosis, that's when things really took another turn, and that this wasn't something that was going to be over very quickly, and that I had a very long road ahead of me. The cancer that I was diagnosed with had a 5-year survival rate of about 15%. The doctors told my parents that I had probably about 36 months to live.
Wow. At age,
Yeah.
what, 23 or something, 22?
I just turned, so I had, the kind of the time of the event was they found the tumor on December 2nd. I celebrated my 22nd birthday on December 13th. And then on December 14th, I had brain surgery.
Wow.
And December 20th is when I got the prognosis of my diagnosis.
Wow.
And so I had just turned 22, and more or less had been told that I wouldn't see my 25th birthday.
How do you get through this? How do you come back from something like that?
Yeah, it was not easy, and it's something that took a lot of time. And I think the physical toll, was probably as bad, but in some sense the mental toll of it all was worse. And I kind of equate it to I had been working on punting and kicking since I was a junior in high school, and so I went through junior and senior year of high school, all of college, so about 6.5 years of working on this craft of being as good as I could be as a punter or a kicker, and going through brain surgery, going through 14 months of chemotherapy. I lost all of that, and when I decided that I wanted to try and play football again, I had to start all over. And if you think about somebody going to 6 or 7 years of medical school, finishing, and then somebody comes up to them and says, "All right, well now you just forgot everything you've ever learned,
Yeah.
and you got to go back and start all over." How do you go about doing that? And it felt surmountable at times, but what I did was just went back to the basics that I learned and just took things one step at a time, one day at a time. So for me, it was, I set a goal for myself. I said this is what I wanted to do, and I did not want to be defined by, my medical condition, the fact that I had brain cancer. I didn't want that to end my career, by itself. And so I just was determined to find a way to make this all worth it, and to prove myself. And so I worked out every day. I worked at kicking and punting and just trying to get better. I went back and I got my master's degree while I was doing this, so I was attaining some education, and also trying to physically get myself back to where I was. I went from 210 pounds at Syracuse to down to 165 pounds going through treatment, and it took a lot of time to get all that back. And like I said, the mental toll that it takes. I think that's where I learned the most about myself was that I had to face unfortunately had to face death, and that's a hard thing to overcome when you have to overcome that, and you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and have a passion for what you're doing. And I think that's what got me through each day.
His passion. So you said it, I guess, as awe-inspiring, as awful as this was, it was still worth it for you. This whole experience, scary as it was,
Yeah.
it was worth it. Yeah, I mean, now I feel like having been through, you could probably handle anything life throws at you now.
Yeah. There's not a lot of things that throw me off now. I mean, it's having dealt with that is it's the hardest thing, and I hope the hardest thing that I have to deal with. I'm sure other things in my life will come up. I'm almost certain that I'm sure there's going to be other adversity that I face, but it puts everything in perspective, right?
Yeah.
I essentially at the age of 22 was told I was going to die, within 5 years, more likely than not, and I worked to get past that and to try and grow and just be the best person that I could be every day, and that's what I can control. It's so true, right? There's a a perception versus reality of what you think, either people think or what you should do, and you're in some ways able to control all of that, right? You focus on yourself and what you can do to better yourself and to develop, and not really worry about everything else and the perception, but understand the reality in which you live.
Yeah. So to kind of close, I mean, how is your health now?
Yeah, so I'm doing great. So it's been 8.5 years since I was diagnosed. I didn't ever think I would turn 30 or get married, and I turned 30 in 2018, and I was just married about 3 months ago to the love of my life. And so things are going really well, and I do something every day with my job that I'm extremely passionate about, and I think that's really important too. That I'm in a position to give back and to support people and families like myself. So it's really I'm so lucky in so many ways, and as you mentioned earlier, I wouldn't change anything that's happened to me because it's made me who I am and put me in the position that I'm in now.
Rob, the luck. Wow, you've got some luck. And if you had given up at any point, you wouldn't be able to sit here and say this. This is fantastic stuff. Inspirational.
Yeah.
How about advice? Yeah. What advice do you have for 8th graders about anything? No holds barred.
It's focus on yourself, and when you're going through school and you're getting ready for high school, like that stuff matters, right? How you conduct yourself, how you handle yourself, how you do in school, it matters, right? As soon as you start to transition from middle school to high school, how you handle yourself from that day forward, it starts to matter, right? What you accomplish in high school and in college, like that is stuff that will be reflected upon you and your personality the rest of your life. And so it's important to kind of understand that, and that if you mess up or you screw up, it's not the end of everything, but you just have to take that opportunity of each day to try and move. I think you can move in one of two directions. You can get better or you can get worse, and as long as you at least make an effort to continue to move to get better, you're going to end up in the right places.
Wow. Rob Long, thank you so much. This is fantastic.